Ready? Yep. Fast track number 4, farming expired listings and FSBOs, for sale by owners. So what is farming in real estate terms? Farming is a longer term method and strategy of prospecting. It's just like farming. It takes, you'll see the farmers out there, it's just a bare field and they're tilling it, or they're throwing seed down, or they're in the vineyards, they're cutting the vines back. It's a process. It's a process that takes place there. Whereas canvassing, FSBOs and expired listings are intended to locate more immediate listings, and customers' purpose farming is to create top of mind awareness. It's to farm an area for fruitfulness down the road. So that when if people are ready to make a real estate decision, they'll hopefully think of calling you. And so we're going to talk about that. So seasons of farming. First season, getting acquainted. That's about a 3-month process. Season 2, building name recognition and trust. We need pen?
Yeah. Oh, fine. Thank you.
That's a 6-month process. Season 3, becoming the neighborhood specialist. That's about 12 months. Season 4, the harvest. That's 18 months, 18 to 24. And season 5 is defending your territory, and that's infinity and beyond. So in my neighborhood, I've seen people do about 6 months worth, and one kind of went for a year and they dropped off. Well, you need 18 to 24 months in a farm to start getting some good, consistent fruit from your efforts. So, and then once you start doing that, then you got to defend your territory. I'm sure that Frank is having to defend his territory over there off of Neroli from, for people who want to go in and take over some of his stuff because they're seeing he's getting a lot of business out of there. So
it used to be Bryce's, remember?
Yep. So farming is not a quick thing. Now you may send out a piece and you get a quick result. That's great, but that's not. Don't expect that, and if it takes longer, just anticipate that. So you've got that going there. That graph should be in your binder, Bonnie. Or Bobby.
Where are you guys at?
We're in chapter 4.
Under the 4th thing.
That's why.
There we go.
I was lost.
Okay. So, it's important to consider several factors when selecting the neighborhood that you want to farm. Farm within your company's current market area. Now, I'm going to break a little bit of that rule there because we're going to farm down in San Jose, but we've got an agent that's down in San Jose, so she's going to get a farm that's close to her house. But farm within, you can farm Livermore, but I don't know that you'll have as much of effectiveness because you'll be seen as an out-of-area agent. So if you're farming Oakley, Brentwood, Antioch, Discovery Bay, we're more local and we'll be there. So try and farm within the local current market area. An area your office, yes?
I'm in Knighton.
But our market area, the company's market area, not just where you live, the company's market area. So an area your office planning to include in its expanded market. So San Jose, we're hoping to expand down there in the next year or two. So we're going to expand there. The community where you live is a good way to do it. Unless you live in Knighton and there's 12 houses and 4,000 cows.
And everybody is old or loves Lori?
Or both.
They're old and
Yeah. An area close by between your home and office. Why would that one be a good one for you?
Top of mind, right? And people see you.
Top of mind, and you're going back and forth. If it's between your home and office, you can stop. The way in, stop, walk, knock on some doors, deliver some things. The way out, do the same thing. An area you like and would feel comfortable working there. Don't set your farm as someplace where you're going to get called, have the cops called back. I'm kidding. Just kidding, guys.
We need a new farm.
So I'm afraid. So I sold the house right down the street from my mother-in-law in Hayward, and so I wanted to farm over there, but I'm afraid I'll get shot.
That's probably not a good area to farm. Yeah, it's probably just not a good.
I'll send stuff, but I don't know if I want to walk it.
Yeah, so you want pick a different farm then. I mean, if you want to be a little more expensive area, then go to Concord. I mean, do some farming over there. So a little higher price points and not that far away.
And my dad's over there.
And your dad's over there, so there you go. So turnover, what percentages of homes sell in a given area over 1 year? Any ideas?
75.
75%?
Yeah, I said percentages.
What percentages of homes sell in a given area over 1 year? So in my area, there's probably, over the last year, there's probably been 20 homes that sold. Our list is 300 something homes. So about 8% turnover rate in my neighborhood. 5 to 8%.
There were 300 houses for sale and only 8 of them sold.
No, there's 300 something houses. So this is not asking how many of them actually sell. That's asking in an area how many homes on average turn over in a year.
Gotcha.
Change hands.
That
So
makes more sense.
use MLS and similar records to compare the farm's turnover rate with the overall market rate. You can also contact Title, and if you want to get hold of Andy, say, hey, can you get me the stats for this area? What's the turnover rate? What's the turnover rate for this area here? And they can tell you, they can pull up and tell you what the turnover rates are for different areas over different years. So you'll know. If there's a high turnover area, that may be an area you want to farm because you'll know that there's more people turn over. A higher end area, not as much turnover. But I've actually been very surprised at the turnover that's taken place over where Frank Bermudez is. He said, for that area,
That's been a lot of people.
there's been a lot of people that have moved. So,
I think it's because they're elderly.
yeah, I think that's a lot of it.
A lot of them are elderly.
He hit it at the right time, and elderly, the market's up, and so he did a good job with that. Use a business plan you created to ensure that the area has enough turnover for you to reach your income goal. Be sure that there's more turnover than the number of listings that you need to get your income goal. For example, if you had a neighborhood that had 10 homes sell last year and you need 10 listings this year to reach your income goal, that's not going to be a high enough turnover rate to make it happen. So look for a neighborhood that's got 20 or 30 homes that turned over last year in an area, or broaden your radius, your area you're doing. You're probably not going to secure every listing, but you do see agents that go in and they actually do pretty well and they kind of dominate the area. But again, some of that's going to be a longer term proposal rather than a shorter term proposal. Selected territory, you can select by price range. So if you want to do, if you're a new agent, you're probably going to want to be mid to lower end because you're a newer agent, and those who have a higher price point are going to, they're going to start saying, well, you don't have much experience, and so you'll have some difficulty breaking into those areas unless you're teamed up with a more experienced agent and you've got some of that recognition out there. Also, more expensive homes tend to have a lower turnover rate. They're also at times may be more difficult to sell. Don't farm an area you're not ready to sell. For most people, unless you're really up on it, I wouldn't farm Discovery Bay waterfront homes. The reason is because there's a ton to know about waterfront in terms of the docks and just all sorts of things out there.
Same thing with Bethel Island.
Yeah, Bethel Island, same. There's a lot to know with
there's
that.
Water lines like 2 feet under the ground that run through, and you gotta do this and that, and have it tested and all this stuff.
Well, and then Bethel Island is things that have to be up a certain height, and there's stuff that's blowing, how you deal with that.
There has to be flood certificates and all
there's a lot
kinds
of
of stuff, man.
So I'm not saying you can't farm those areas. It's just
You better know your stuff.
Before you start to farm it, you better do all of your research and know about that area. That's true of any area, but a regular subdivision is going to be a little less intense to catch up on. We were buying homes out at the auction, and ones came up on in Discovery Bay, and there was people that were there. You hear them talk. It's like, okay, what's going on there? Yeah, well, the dock disappeared last week. So what would that mean? Well, you're gonna have a hard time getting another dock in there, or there's never been a dock there. So to get a permit to get a dock in there is like, it's easier to have quadruplets than to get a permit to put a new dock in out there. So there's, whatever area you're gonna farm, make sure at least you have a decent understanding of the area, what's going on there. So don't waste time in areas where, there's not gonna be turnover. But as you get better with things, you get more adept at things, and what I would do is I would have a farm at this price point, and then I would be starting to do my research and my figuring out a next price point up, so I can start to farm that one. After I've done well here and get this one going, then I would roll over to the next one and know that. And then you've got a farm here that's the next kind of the move up one for this neighborhood here. And you can start rolling people into there. And it can be, and that's how you kind of move yourself up the ladder of the type of properties that you're selling and those sort of things. Competition is the area you've chosen to be effectively marketed by other sales professionals. Just, find out if other people are doing it. Knocking neighborhoods and, knocking a few doors, talking to people. It's like, man, there's like 10 of you that are sending stuff out all the time. That may not be the area you want to market. That may not be the area you want to farm. Size, determine the number of homes you'll need to produce a return on your investment. Select an area that you can service through consistent follow-up. A workable size is about 300 homes to start. I think our farm is about 350, and that's going to be a lot of work. But it can pay off. But it's going to be a lot of work. So it's going to be a lot of work for Emily, not for
So
me.
I found that through the website, one of the websites, I think it's the personal marketing one, you can go in and customize your postcards, and I was showing Bobby this, but you can I ordered 300, and with the postage it was only $66. And so I ordered my labels with Andy, and so she kind of helped me pick I sent her a bunch of farms, because when you're setting up your farm, you get really excited. But what I like about Andy is, even though she gets really excited too, she'll kind of like direct you back, like, okay, you picked a lot.
Right.
So you're only doing 300, and then, I was like, well, I feel like I can do 300, and that was before I even looked at that.
Okay.
But, so I did 100 around the home that I sold in Vintage Parkway, and then 200 from the house that I sold in Antioch. Just
Okay.
because it's a bigger area.
Right.
So, I was excited about the postcards.
Good.
Only $66.
Yeah, I think we did 300, and it was how much? But we went through the Weichert. It was like 150.
Oh.
But it was simple. It was boom, boom, boom. It was all there. I didn't have to try and import stuff and all that.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it's the same thing.
what?
It's the same thing.
It's through the personal marketing.
Oh, through Weichert? Okay,
You just
good.
gotta click on your picture and type in your name. The same thing. She's
Okay.
showing you.
Okay.
Yeah, it was super simple and way less expensive. And I like how the other ones, they're still really nice. I would use those for my just listed and just sold.
Right.
Whereas this one, if we're doing farming all the time, it's more cost effective.
Right.
But the only thing is, like on the Weichert one, they send it out for you.
There's a way to do it where you can have them send to you and you can send them out. That's what we did.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I did, and that's what I'm talking about with the
Yeah,
labels.
right.
Yeah. So if you go, and this was good because we got labels for our farm as well. And she says, so do you want owner occupied only? Do you want owner occupied and absentee owner, or do you want ones that are that are rentals? I said, can you give me one set of owner occupied, one set of absentee owner, and one set of tenants? She goes, yep. So I've got it broken down, so I can market to the owner occupieds, and then I can do a separate type of a mailing to the ones that are out of area, which means that they're trying to manage that. So if they're not a property manager, then I'll work on try to get property management out of it, and then I'll start working on tenant, say the separate setup, saying, hey, notice that you're renting and don't know your story, but we would like to see if we can help you move towards being a homeowner one day, and do that way. So we're going to hit kind of 3 different tracks on that. So you can also use the direct mail website, WREAImail.com, and Matt Mail. We use that for the just listed. So we put on there. We drew the map thing, got the number of houses we wanted that were owner occupied, and so they'll put all that together. They'll put labels on and send it out. For the just listed, just solds, much easier to do that. I'm not going to mess around with. It's a little bit more expensive, but time is of the essence. I need to get it out and get on there. For my farm, I can do different ways. But again, title companies can get you maps also. Farming methods of approach. Introductory letter. Introductory letter to your farm area should contain information about you, information about your company. Don't forget your BRE number or DRE number or whatever they're calling it nowadays. The services that you're offering. Don't offer services that you don't offer. Don't overpromise. The fact that you'll be calling or stopping by in the next few days. So that's what we're doing with our first mailing piece out there. Hey, we'll be stopping by, dropping off a comparative market analysis of your property, let you know it's worth, and then we'll follow up with that to do that. Continuously mail letters until you've covered the entire farm area. Introductory visit, if you're going to do that, which would be smart to do. Your first visit to the farm area is to follow up with the letter that you sent or the card you sent. It should be brief. It should be cordial. You should pretend like you like people.
Why don't you look at me?
I haven't been looking that direction. You're just knocking the doors within the neighborhood. Introduce yourself and follow up on the letter you sent. To increase the impact of your visit, then you can turn around and write thank you notes to everybody who opened the door for you. Handwritten's always better than but write legibly. So I cannot write those because they won't be able to read that. So hey, some third grader just sent us a card. So if you send out a thing, you knock on doors, people answer, and then you send a card to those people who answered, you've gone about 5,000 miles past the average agent in the market. You just have, because most agents aren't working that hard. So again, this is a job. If you want to make money, you got to get out there and hustle. That's why Jim Weichert was down at the train station every day, handing out business cards to people coming and going. And that's why he started his business and built it. He was out there hustling every day talking to people. Let's see. Subsequent mailers, visits, and phone calls. After your initial visit, you need to schedule one regular routine contacts with the residents of your farm area. It means sending out mailers, postcards, market flyers every 2 months or so to your farm area. After each mailer, you make time to canvass the area to follow up. Send out a mailer prior to canvassing is a good strategy because it gives you a reason to knock on the door and say, I'm here, I told you I was going to, now I'm following up on that. And that's why we're going to mail. It'd be great to mail out to all 300 at once, but there's no way we can get to 300 homes in a short period of time. So we're gonna do smaller ones, and then we're gonna have to kind of figure out our rotation schedule here so that we're hitting those homes. Because this is gonna take us several months to get through the whole thing, but we need to be hitting those other ones a second time in there. Canvassing schedule can be a daunting task when you think you have to knock on 300 doors and all in one weekend. To make it easier, create a canvassing schedule, split up your farm into smaller groups of 50 homes. I would even recommend breaking it up into 20 homes. And what we're going to do it based on size of homes, so we're not going door to door to door so that people see you coming and they hide.
We're called the cops.
Yeah, we're called cops. We're going to do different, same size homes, so we'll go here, and then we'll come back over here, and then we'll come back over here. And so we're not going to walk over, we're going to drive and we'll go up to the doors. So it's a little more intentional, a little more random, and it's people don't see us coming and we just look at another salesperson coming out there. Schedule out the days you're going to canvass in advance. Right now as we start doing this, we're going to canvass on Saturday and Sunday. Once it starts getting light into the evening so that you're not creeping out in the dark. It starts getting light, we'll start doing one day during the week and then either a Saturday or Sunday to do all that. Because, this time of the year it's hard because it's just, there's no light, it's dark. So you don't want to freak people out and if you freak them out, then you don't do it. Once your days are scheduled, pick which 50 homes or whichever number you'll do, and assign name the group 1, group 2, so on and so forth. Do that so that you can make sure you're canvassing things and you know what you're doing. So we're going to have to figure out, because we're going to be kind of random, we got to figure out a system of who we've done, how we've done it when we went. So probably a spreadsheet. Now that you've done that, sign a specific Saturday each month, you're going to begin canvassing, and it's always best to send a mail out a few days before you do that. And so send out, if you send out 50, then knock on 50 doors then that week, and you may only get 10 answers, but keep track of that. So the list, you've got to have a list with you of the homes that you're going to, and then if they answer, jot notes on that conversation and be able to, so if you write a note, you want to be able to refer to something that happened and or said in that transaction, in that conversation. Contact management. As you interact with people who live in your farm area, it's important to get their information. You want to always try to get information, especially, or email addresses are great. Promise them you're not going to, mail out a bazillion, email a bazillion things to them and all that. Now, Weichert Pro, were you able to get in, Bobby?
I just saw that email.
Okay, so Weichert Pro is your contact management. You can do good contact management through there. We're doing our my sphere of influence, but we'll start putting these addresses into that database. So every time we send a mailing out, we'll put them in the database, and then I'll highlight it as farm, and then as we get names, information to those properties, then we'll start inputting that information, and we've already got that going there. So the good news is, I don't know, did they send out to you guys the video about the website and the changes they're making? Okay, so it just went to managers.
Yes, I got it.
Once they get it all, it's
gonna
good.
be
It's going to
really
take a little bit of time. Once they get it all done, it'll look really cool. It's going to be really
gonna be
good.
really
So
nice.
yeah, so maybe that's just news for you. For sale by owners. We'll switch gears here because I'm trying to get done. So let me just call Dan. So that before Linda has to leave. FSBOs, for sale by owner. A for sale by owner is a seller who's trying to sell their home without the services of a real estate agent. Referred, internally as FSBOs, should be referred to as a private seller. FSBOs are the fastest source of business opportunity. We don't have it as much here, but there are different times where the market changes where we get more. But I showed you the other day, they do exist out here. Not only FSBOs, but Make Me Move. Make Me Move can be an effective one for you to look on there to see people that have said, yeah, if I get $1 million for my house, I'd sell it. But those may be good ones to go have a conversation with them. I saw this on here. I've got some people who are looking for this type of property. I mean, I kind of ran comps on it, the number's high. If I had a buyer that was lower, would you consider that? Or are you really wanting to move, or are you just kind of, so if they put it up there, they'd be willing to move. So they start working on that there. Finding for sale by owners, signs you can drive through your neighborhood. Other ways you can find for sale by owners.
I've been looking on Craigslist.
Craigslist is one.
It's a good one.
Okay.
Drive-bys.
Drive-bys. Okay. What else, Bobby?
The Make Me Move, like you
The
said.
Make Me Move is the other one. There's also FSBO websites. There's FSBO.com, FSBO.com. There's ForSaleByOwner.com. There's FSBR.com. I think they're up there now, are they? And there's ByOwner.com. So there's actually FSBO websites too that you can look at, and you can do it. But Craigslist is a great one. Make Me Move features a good one to look at. Those are all good avenues to do that. FSBO facts. Most FSBOs see selling their house as a fairly easy task, even often a crusade. Only time will cause them to engage a real estate professional. Most FSBOs eventually list with a real estate company. Just most do. It takes an average of 5 to 7 contacts to eventually list a FSBO. So again, it's not a slow, quick, easy process. It does take time. So why do homeowners want it sell themselves? What are the reasons you think?
Save money on the
Save money in the brokerage, okay? Broker fee, okay? What else?
A lot of them think they could do better than us.
Think they can do better, okay?
Right.
faster.
They can do it faster, okay? What else?
No one knows their home like they do.
Nobody knows their home like they do.
Yeah, well, that's
Okay.
why I think they can do better than us.
Okay?
Yeah.
A lot of times you just distrust real estate agents.
Oh, there you go, we're car salesman.
Yeah. Lack of motivation. Maybe they had a bad experience with another realtor. All
That's
those.
a good one, yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good one.
Although I mean, Mark that we talked to the other day, Emily, he just basically badmouthed other realtors that they took advantage of, basically the realtor made money by listing his home and picking up another buyer and seller, and he felt he should have gotten a cut of that. It's like, it's always, but that's how people are, so they want to do that themselves. Trading time for value. I always have a reason to call that is of value to the FSBO. Could be a service or information that will help them accomplish their goal. Keep this pattern will do two things. You have a page on this one, I give you a minute, but it'll help you build a report. It allows you to build your value. So what things, what reasons could you use for stopping by for calling or stopping by?
I had a call. I stopped by to drop off a CMA for a guy who called me in Antioch.
Okay.
So he called me off of my just sold card, and it's funny because he was like a really old guy. So he was like, "I'm just calling to see if you'd even really answer the phone." So I just wanted to see if I was going to talk to a live person. I was like, "Well, I'm alive and kicking, so what can I help you with?" And talked to him a little bit. Found out that it's not. He has a certain price in his mind, and he's set on that price. Doesn't want to go any further, but he wants to see what it comes for and would I even have time in my very busy schedule to go and see him. So I said, of course I'll have time. So I went and I dropped off the CMA, talked to him a little bit.
So how much higher than your CMA was he?
Oh, he wants to sell for 500 and he's off of Delta Fair.
Yeah, what's it about?
Yeah.
He's about 410.
Not even, 380.
Well, he has one of the larger floor plans in the neighborhood.
Okay.
And he has a pool.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
yeah, and he has everything's really.
Oh, is he in the right or the left? So is he like right on the road or is he in the neighborhood in the right?
He's in the neighborhood on the.
Oh, okay, that makes a little difference, maybe 430, huh?
So when I did the comp, it was like 430, 440,
Yeah.
somewhere around there. So he was like, well, I don't know if I'm ready yet. I was like, well, that's okay, I'll still be around. He's like, are you sure you're gonna be around when my house hits 500? I was like, will you be around? And then he laughed at that, and so I gave him that.
That's the way. Put the
Yeah, I
idea
really
all
said
in.
that, and then it came out of my mouth, and then I heard it, and I was like, oh. Maybe he liked it, I guess he thought it was
Okay.
fun. And then I went back and I dropped him off, like just a little goodie bag. Like I put, what did I put in there? I just did little Hershey Kisses
Okay.
in there, with my business card. And just said, hope you're having a good new year, with just like a handwritten note. And I just did some simple little ribbon around it, made it all curly, and gave it to him. And he's like, what's this for? I was like, oh, it's just a thank you for giving me a call. And he's like, you know how many people I've called? You're the only person that came and actually talked to me about my house.
Oh,
And you
wow.
actually you can come back anytime. I was like, okay, great. So, I mean, that was like,
If you continue to nurture that relationship, do not be surprised if he says, I know it's not worth 500, but I want to sell it. What can I get it for right now?
Right.
Because, that means if there's some things going on in his life, either he's looking at getting out of the area and taking the money he's got and not having to worry about, this anymore, or health things or something's going on.
Yeah.
So just nurture that relationship. That's very good.
and I don't like to spend a lot, surprisingly, I don't like people, but, I didn't spend a lot of time with him. Like, I just stopped in and listened to him, just short conversation. And I was like, I'm so sorry, but I do have another appointment, but I just wanted to check in on you, make sure you're having a good new year. He's like, well, it's going to be a great day now.
Aww.
Yep.
So now I feel bad because I'm like, I got to go hang out with this old man all the time.
But just pop-bys, short, quick, in there, and so you can share tips. There's actually a FSBO brochure that you can get through Weichert, and just have some tips on there. One of the things that you can just talk to people about is, boy, are you aware of all the things that you need to disclose? You know, are you? Because if you miss a disclosure, you know, I'm not trying to scare you, but you know, this is a scary business for us as professionals. If you do something wrong and somebody gets upset and they feel like you didn't disclose something, they'll come back and see you. My advantage is I've got errors and omission insurance. You probably don't have that. And so it's a good thing to do that. What services should you not give away?
Tax advice.
Well, no, this is to FSBOs. What shouldn't you give away? I mean, yeah, tax advice, but yes. What services should you not give away?
Marketing tips.
Marketing tips might be one of them, okay?
A CMA.
A CMA, market analysis, is one. Yeah, if they're for sale by owner, you don't want to, you know, if they're unrealistic in their price, don't give them the right price. They're probably not going to list you at that point anyway yet. Also, forms, disclosures, and contracts. Don't say, hey, could I get a copy of those and I could use those? Because you talk about, you know, transfer disclosure statement. Well, I don't have that. Could I get a copy? Don't give them that. Because there's liability with you giving them that form and it's not filled out right, even though you weren't the agent. Well, where did you get the form from? Well, I got it from Maggie. Okay, well, let's go talk to Maggie. And then all of a sudden, Maggie's, you know, liable for something that
I
she
would
had.
send them down to Office Max or Office Depot because they can buy little generic templates there and do it themselves.
Yep. So question to ask a FSBO. Why are you selling? Where are you moving to? Here's the thing I would say to a FSBO. So yeah, I'm getting out of California, I'm going to Idaho. So okay, when you go to Idaho, are you going to just look for properties that are for sale by owner? Or are you going to use an agent when you get there? Well, I'm going to use an agent. Well, why? Because I probably wouldn't trust the people that, you know, that they'll rip me off. They're selling by themselves. And I think that most people haven't kind of thought that through because they're thinking to themselves, well, I don't get ripped off by somebody, and I'm not just somebody just selling their house on their own. I don't trust them. So I want an agent to help me find a house. But they see themselves as trustworthy, and who wouldn't trust me? That I'm not going to, you know, wouldn't do it all right. So I think that'd be a great question to use in doing that. Then the question is, how soon do you need to get there? So they're moving out of here. Well, how soon do you need to get there? Well, I'm, you know, supposed to start my job and whatever, and I, you know, so you can help them with that. Talk to them. How did you determine your price? Went on Zillow, and there it was, right there. And that's where you take the bottom disclaimer and say, hey, we're often wrong. It says right bottom of every page. There's actually a tool that I met with a lady from Zillow yesterday, and she actually showed me a really cool tool that we can use with your clients about their accuracy right in their website. It's really, she was really helpful on that. How long have you had your home for sale? You know, well, I've been up for 3 months. You know, truth is, if I'm a private party out there, I'm not sure I just want some guy who's got his house for sale. I don't like to meet people that are selling their cars at their house.
No.
Yeah.
You know, so why do I want to go to somebody's house and it's just, you know, so yeah. So thought-provoking questions. Have you been holding open houses on a regular basis? No, I haven't done any. You know, so at that point you can say, if I held it open for you and I found a buyer for you, would you pay me a commission? I wouldn't mind doing that for you, and even for the opportunity just to get some money. But if I found somebody directly out of it, had everybody register, and then I was actually able to find a buyer, would you pay me a commission? You know, all those things to do, say no. Have you had much activity? Other than an ad in the paper, where else are you marketing your home? And that's where you can say, we market to literally hundreds of places. By going through one place, we are able to broadcast we're able to broadcast across the nation. Most buyers buy by comparing the homes. Are you familiar with the competition? So what are your neighbors selling for? What's there? And they're always going to come up with somebody sold their home for, $30,000 more than they did, and it's smaller than their house, and then you go and you pull it up and they've got it totally wrong. And that's where you come back and say, hey, you know what, you're using this as kind of your guide. Here's the facts. Here's what it really did. Are you sure people coming through are qualified to buy? Have you qualified the buyers? Or you just let people in your home that have no idea if they can actually buy your house? Is there always someone home to show the house? Well, yeah, I'm always there. I'm not going to let strangers in my house. Okay? So you do realize that when the owner is there, very few of those people who see a house with the owner there will buy because they haven't had a chance to talk about the home. They really like it. They haven't had a chance to talk about the home in the home and consider things. And they usually are there for half the time or a third of the time that they would if it were a vacant house or it was unoccupied home with an agent going through. So, and that's things they haven't considered. Common FSBO objections. I'm not interested in working with a realtor. It's okay, I can understand why you're trying to sell your house in your home. I'm not trying to talk you out of it. I just like to preview your house. So, say, I just want to preview it. You don't want to work with a realtor, but you mind if I take a look at your home? I'll just take a couple minutes. Let me just look at that. And then, they'll always want to show their home. Why do I want to pay a commission? That's okay, I understand why you'd rather say that on the commission. I may still be able to get into your price in addition. Yeah, I may still be able to get to your price in addition to a commission, but I need to see the house to know for sure. Can I take a look at your home? Again, just a couple minutes. It's for sale by owner, so I'm, you don't know that I might be looking for myself too. I don't always reveal that. Do you in fact have a buyer for my home? I may, but I need to see the inside of your home first. I preview all homes before I show them to my buyers. So do you have a buyer? Yeah, I might, but I'm not going to bring them into a for sale by owner situation because they're not comfortable with it unless it's something that would really work for them. Expired listings, and again we're hitting three things real quick here. Farming, for sale by owners, and expires. We want you to kind of see the broad spectrum. There's opportunities for business out there, but we say it again and again and again. This is a business. You got to work it like a business. You got to look for your opportunities to do it. Just like you were surprised walking neighborhoods and knocking doors, you actually like that. Somebody may start working FSBOs or expires and find they like it. It's a challenging game. When things settle down, I'm gonna try to do some FSBOs because I think it'd be fun. Just if nothing else, just to mess with people.
So I've been calling FSBOs every Tuesday after tour.
Okay.
I absolutely hate it. I do it at home because I've revealed when I do calls here, like I yell at myself, like I have to do, there's no way I can get off the phone with a stranger that I called and not make the noise. I have to groan.
So you're actually really Chewbacca, aren't you?
I am. Yeah. So I've been doing this at home, and it's astounding how many people you haven't I can't believe they're selling their house because they won't even talk to me. So how are they going to talk to somebody who wants to see their home?
Yep.
And I'm like, I had one guy who said, "You just sound like a realtor."
Yeah. I went and knocked on some and had doors slammed in my face.
So
real rude.
So
I'm not
every
interested.
You know what though?
Okay.
If you'll keep doing that every Tuesday, you're gonna get very, very good at it, and you're gonna become you're gonna start converting those because you're gonna know the language. You're gonna know the language to use. You're gonna know how to get past it. You know how to open those doors up, and then once you start doing that, you say, you know what, I can appreciate that. But
and I won't be like, "Ugh." So I have a sheet that has 100 no's. So it's a sheet and it has literally the word no written 100 times. So every time I get a no or I get hung up on, I mark it off. So my goal is to get 100 no's because you can't get 100 no's in a row. There are going to be some
there you go.
yeses. So if you don't try for your 100 no's, you'll never get to your yes.
Okay. But once you start converting those, what I'm saying, when you start converting those, you'll start getting good at that. And then when somebody starts saying, well, that's what Mr. Jones thought too, and thought he was gonna get this. We actually ended up getting more than he thought, is even after the commissions. And I also saved him some real problems because there were some issues that need to be revealed and dealt with. And he wasn't aware of that. We helped him. We probably saved him $300,000 in legal fees by that. So you'll get really good at that if you keep pursuing that. I know, but that's a great job. I'm proud of you. So, expired listing is a home that was listed with a real estate agent but did not sell within the dates agreed upon in the listing agreement. And I don't know about you, but I always forget to put when the listing agreement expires. I always forget that. I always forget to put the closing one. So then I'm on MLS loading, and then date expire. End of the listing agreement. Let me make up a date here because I didn't get one. So I make up a date.
So
Edit that.
It's 90 days.
Well, no, you can do longer.
I do 90 days.
Yeah.
And I put it in the report.
Yeah, you're supposed to be on the form. I always forget. Find expired listings. Set up automatic daily MLS searches on your computer. So you can tell your computer each new expired, kick it to me. So as soon as it expires, it'll kick it to you. So you've got that information. Know your local board and MLS rules. Do not contact people before, even if you think it's close to be, don't contact them for business prior to it expiring. Just not a good thing to do. Do we have company policies that addresses contacting expired listings? The only thing is, be nice, be cordial, be professional, and don't take it personally if they, are not wanting to use something right now.
I literally wrote company policy is to be nice.
Yeah. That was probably well for you to write that down. The sooner you contact the seller after the expiration of this listing contract, the better chance you'll have of securing an appointment. Just recognize you're going to be getting all sorts of calls and contacts on that. Just recognize you won't be the first one or the only one that's doing that. Well, why expire? Why a license expired? Price is one of them, or lack of proactive marketing. Or there's some, I mean, you've seen them out there. Emily was, she was looking at one the other day, it's like every picture was blurry and fuzzy.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I went and I showed that. And I can't believe it was a local agent here that we all know and everything. And the pictures,
Yeah.
they're so bad.
She had one where just they were blurry.
I feel so bad. I want to call them and tell them, oh my God, what's the matter with you? You could have sold this person's house. You never had to reduce the price.
Yeah.
It's a great house.
Yeah.
It looks
People
like
know
he
what it
sneezed
looked like.
every time, it's like.
Yeah, this was really bad. We actually seen it. We went and seen it. It was one of the houses we seen on tour.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, over off of Live Oak. Over
Okay.
there.
Huh.
And the
Yep.
pictures online are like, you can't even tell that that's the same house we went and
Yep.
seen.
And sometimes I had one expired a year and a half ago, and then he took it off, and then he was supposed to come back to me, and he ended up going with Krista Miller and selling it for the price that I told him it should have been the first time, and got it
So
sold.
that always sucks.
Yeah. So he didn't listen to me for price. He didn't listen to me for what he needed to do for staging, and then that didn't sell. So you've got some of that sometimes, and it hurts when they don't listen to you. But as long as you tell them, hey, here's what I'm telling you. If you don't want to listen to me, great. You want to do a price, great. However, just so you understand, here's what my advice is. And so,
Real quick.
yes.
Will this video be available to
Yes. Expired listings, making the first contact. It's not a time to delay. Often the first agent is the one to get the listing. When contacting expired listing, verify that it's indeed expired. So, hey, is it expired? Don't if you contact us, no, it's still active. Or they may think it is still. Don't. Say okay. My apologies. I got a notification that it had. So and then they would call their agent. Hey, are we expired? I don't want to. And then the agent, because that happens sometimes that
How do you set that up? You can set that up in Paragon for something expired to get a notice?
the same way you do it in a back in the market. You can set up for a back in the market or new price.
Oh, that's right,
Yeah,
okay.
you can set it as expired. So any expires to come in.
That should be worked out.
Try to pull up the property as a new listing before making the first contact. Familiarize yourself with the property as it is or was displayed on the MLS, so make sure you look at that and maybe see hints of why it didn't sell, what was going on there, why did it expire, price too high, whatever. Pictures are blurry, yeah. Or the house is in terrible condition and, needs to, be dealt with. And it may be something as simple as, and this one, I would always read and check confidential and stuff. It may be somebody died in the home, and so it's just a tough sell because you get buyers out at the time that just aren't wanting to be at a home where somebody died in the last 3 years in the home, and then that you think you can overcome that with them. Never wait to call. Never criticize the previous listing agent and/or the competition, because they may have done everything they could to try to get it priced right and have the people listen to them, and the people didn't do that, just like I did with the one I had in Brentwood. And but they may be in a position now where they're ready to listen. So never own their criticisms of what happened. So they may tell you why it didn't sell and all this. Don't there's always two sides to a story. So do that. Always discover if they still need and want to sell. So maybe they don't want to sell anymore. Ask why they think their property didn't sell. Get a read of their willingness to read list. Allow them to vent, but don't believe just everything they're saying about the agent's a terrible, no good, terrible person and all that. Ask open-ended questions that will give you additional information and see if you can schedule a face-to-face appointment at their home. So, hey, I know you don't want to list right now or that, or maybe you're upset about things, you want to let things cool, but I do have some buyers that may be interested. Could I at least just come and see it, so if it does come back up, or if they, in a week decide, hey, yeah, I'd like to buy that home or take a look at it. If you're still willing to sell, maybe down the road, I'd at least like to see it so that I could do that, and that may be the thing that opened the door for them. Let's see. All right, yeah, there we go. Helpful materials. Weichert has excellent marketing materials for expired owners. All are instructive. They can be personalized. There's also scripts on calling expireds as well as calling FSBOs. There's brochures that you can get for months without selling. And again, in our market, we don't have a lot of that go expired. We do have some. The ones that have gone expired or have been out there for a long time, it's going to be a pricing issue. Price or condition. And so people are not being realistic with it. Remember that sellers have already seen how other agents have evaluated their home. What can you do to show your competitive advantages? The blurry picture, one goes expired. Hey, we can take a picture. People can actually see what your home looks like. Kind of a simple concept. Remember to emphasize your service guarantee. Commit yourself not to only to scheduled activities, but to regular scheduled communication with the seller. Expired listings, supportive statements. I can certainly appreciate what you must have gone through in the past 6 months. I just be supportive of it. I understand that. And I'm not here to harass you, bug you, but if I can help you, I'd love to. It seems like you worked hard to prepare your house for sale. Unless from the pictures it's obvious they didn't. Don't make that statement. There's some homes that they're a nightmare. And they didn't sell because there's garbage everywhere, literally. The rooms are packed with stuff, you can't even get into them. Just a lot of things there. So don't say something that isn't accurate or that you wouldn't want to stand behind. It sounds to me like you'd still like to move. Those could be supportive statements on there. And then some motivating statements. If I can show you how we can still get you into your next home, would you be interested? So it may be that it expired and they're mad now because the home they wanted to buy, they can't now because it's gone, because they had to really remove their contingency, or they had to cancel because they couldn't remove the contingency. I'd really like the opportunity to discuss with you how I would market your home. I've got some time tomorrow at 3, or would Friday at 2 work better for you? And realistically, one of the things that we can use right now is the Matterport thing, the virtual 3D tour. There's a couple agents that were starting to use it, but the cost is too prohibitive. We're the only ones who own the stinking camera in this area. So others are paying other people to do it, and they go, it's just so expensive. And so we're right now, as far as I've seen, the only one who's really got that and using that on most of our listings. it really is a good selling point. Send it over to Jeff Leachy and said, for the one we saw on tour today, show him that, goes, oh, that's really cool, It just helps sell the house. Another motivating statement: would it be worth 30 minutes of your time to see how I would market and sell your home in today's market? And then it sounds to me that it may not have been priced at all. I'd like to see your house and give you my assessment, good or bad. House tomorrow at work. So let's see. Common objections. My last agent never advertised my home. Will Weichert advertise my home? Advertising is one of the main things our Weichert office and I can do to market properties. And again, the marketing aspect that others aren't doing would be the open houses with the signs and the balloons, the Matterport, the 3D tour. We put it on brokers tours. We do, a lot of those things there that a lot of agents aren't doing. We think we should wait. Is an objection. I can appreciate that. If I could demonstrate to you that by putting your house back in the market now will save you money, get your new home faster, would that make it worth spending an hour with me? So it's just, hey, I think we can help you. Oh, Jeff called. Or we've changed our minds, we aren't going to sell. Apparently you have a reason for changing your mind. You may ask what it is. So why'd you change your mind? And part of it may be, well, the house we were looking for or we wanted to get is no longer available, and so, we're only going to sell if we can get that house. Okay. Well, if you find one that's similar to that you want to make the move, I think we can get your house sold. Would it be okay if I came and just previewed it, so if that came, I'm already mentally ready to jump in and get this going, and I can tell you some things you need to do right now that would help you to do that. And that way, if it happens, you're already up to speed, you're ready to go, and so you don't miss that next opportunity. They may appreciate that. Why don't you just leave me some information? Actually, I have some information to leave with you. Since I'm here, it'll only take about 30 minutes to stop minutes top to share information with you. So, if you've knocked on the door on that, well, just leave me some information. I've got it. Hey, can I just take 30 minutes to just kind of go through what we've got and have some stuff there with you ready to go. I want to make sure the agent I choose isn't too busy to pay attention to me. And bottom line is, if I was too busy to pay attention to you, I wouldn't be here talking to you right now. So let me tell you why I came by. I've had other agents who have already called today. It seems like everyone wants the listing now. I can understand your frustration. You'll probably have more calls before the day is over. But how many others came out to speak with you? So, rather than a phone call, you're going and knocking on the door on that. Common objections still, what can you do for me that other agents can't do? I wouldn't know until I analyze your situation. I don't know. I don't know what they did. So I need to analyze, look at it, look at your house, see what recommendations they made, what I'd have, give you my marketing plan and all that. But I couldn't tell you that until I'm able to take a look at that. If you're waiting to let me do that, I'd like to do that. Why didn't you show and sell my house when it was listed before? Which is a good question. That's a good question. While your house was listed with so-and-so, I was busy selling and showing homes of my other clients and the clients in my office. That's my primary objective. One of the many benefits of working with a large company is that it allows me to show, market, and many times sell primarily your own listings. I'd be careful on that one. That just sounds like you're not taking your clients to other places, which is, I would not give that indication. So I would probably rework that answer to that objection, because that's, one, it's not doing your clients the best that you're only taking your own office's listings, and two, they may be buyers, and if they think that you're going to limit what they're going to see, they may not want to work with you at that point either. So be careful of that answer. We're going to stay with an original agent. I can appreciate that kind of loyalty. Let me ask you, do you think the agent did everything they could to sell their home last time around? If they did, then what more can they do for you now? Again, I'd be careful with that one. It's like, that's great, you're doing that. Who's your agent? If it's somebody say, that's great. I'm not sure why it didn't sell. They're a good agent. Sometimes it happens, and I'll circle back around with them and just give them my thoughts and maybe kind of help them do that. They're a good person, and I'd like to see them get the thing sold for you. So I appreciate your loyalty. I would probably take that tack with them, that I appreciate your loyalty to them, and hey, I know them. They're a good agent. So you just one of those odd circumstances where it didn't work. So I'll circle back with them and maybe together we can kind of figure out what will help to sell that. I'm not going to charge you or that for them. I like them and I want to see them succeed on that. And so, and they may appreciate it. So if they then decide not to use that agent, they may give you a call. It's like, hey, you're actually supportive of other people and you didn't rip on them and call them names and that sort of stuff. Because I know that when the one that I had expired, they did, they made some statements that shouldn't have been made, and that part bothered me.
The homeowner or other agent?
No, the other agent. So it was just, that's okay. I've gotten over it.
A learning experience.
Learning experience, yeah. So I just drive by our house and egg it occasionally.
Was there somebody that?
Did you put that bleach on the lawn?
It's somebody who does a lot of business out here, and they just did the charming, we can do it, and I already told him the reason it didn't sell, and the problem was, and it looked like a bachelor pad because there was like no furniture in the house, and there was some painting that needed to be done that he didn't do, and he did it later on, and the price needed to be different, and he already knew those things, and he was going to come back to me, and next thing I knew, 6 months later or a year later, he was selling somebody else, and had I priced it where he priced it then, it would have sold in no time the first time, but he just didn't want to listen to me, and he wanted to, let's see what it'll do. Well, once you're too high, and then you got to start dropping the price, then you're damaged goods, and then we started heading into the fall, and it just, it didn't sell. So
sometimes it's just timing.
Yeah, sometimes it's just timing.
It's just timing.
So you realtors didn't sell it before. This time I'm going to sell it myself, and you can talk about that and talk about the disadvantages of that. And again, statistics say that you'll end up getting less by selling yourself than using an agent and even paying the commissions. I never heard from my agent once the house was listed. What makes you any different? I can appreciate that. I've heard the same concern from other unsuccessful sellers who then entrust me with their house. I'd love to come over and explain how I follow up with all my sellers, and then make sure you follow up with your sellers. I'm going to be more careful this time and interview several real estate companies. That's great. I'm sure you'll feel more confident making a well-informed decision. I'd like to come over and see your house before I develop my specific marketing plan for you. Would 3 o'clock be okay? So that's great. You're going to interview. I'd like to be one of the ones you interview. I do kind of a 2-step process. Can I come over, see the house, get all the information in the house, take a few pictures, and then I'll be back either later that afternoon or the next day with my marketing plan. That's where you put the whole doors presentation together and bring that back there. So that's great. I can appreciate that, but I'd like the opportunity to compete, and here's how we compete. We do more, we get more because we do more, and here's what we do. So if I could do that, that'd be wonderful. So again, 3 different areas: farming, for sale by owners, and expireds. They may not be your cup of tea. I did not know that Linda was calling every Tuesday, and truthfully, if she keeps working on that, and she keeps developing that, and she keeps nurturing those ones that she's talked to before, as well as I'm not sure she's doing that, but if she does that, she will get very, very good at that, and she will probably start converting a good percentage of those people, because she'll learn how to do it. It's an art. There's an art to it. There's an art to knowing what to say, how to do it. Same thing there's an art to dealing with expireds, and try helping them with that. But it takes practice, it takes doing it. There's an art to working a farm. So you've got to learn how to do that. So all of this takes skill and practice and doing it. If you do it 3 times and you fail, throw your hands up. It doesn't work. You look at professional athletes and how many times they repeat the same thing over and over. You guys, none of you care about football probably, but the Vikings game on Sunday, they interviewed the guy that made the catch that won the game literally with no time on the clock. And the question he was asked is, how many times do you guys practice that play? He goes, thousands. We practice that same play thousands of times. We practice all of our plays thousands of times. Repetition, we get good at it. And in this case, it paid off in a huge thing that allowed them to move on in the playoffs. So we're bringing these things up so you can work on those, practice those, get good at those, try them out, but don't quit beforehand. Be a Thomas Edison, learn how to fail 9,000 ways, you're almost there. And I know that's discouraging at times, and you wish it could all just be quick and fast, but you'll be surprised. You'll be working on this, no results, and you'll have 6 things over here that pop up. Don't veer away from this. Keep learning it, keep growing in it, because these go away, and then all of a sudden these start to pop over here. So it's just learning new skills and building your skills, and that's what we want you to do, is build new skills. And the things we talked about today, if you'll work on those and get good at those, particularly farming consistently, and the for sale by owners and the expireds, particularly the farming, you'll be miles ahead of the average age in the area. Because they're sitting around like ring. That's their business plan. I send out a card once a year, and then I wait for my home phone to ring, and it doesn't ring. You've got to do things proactively and positively to get the phone to ring. And so that's what we encourage you to do. Okay.
Woody Allen too, he made 100 films, 100 full-length films before he ever got one taken serious.
Really?
Can you imagine?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Making 100